Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How are we all doing? Hopefully you're all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Also, don't forget as well, please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is up now. Loads of content coming on there, behind the scenes type stuff. I am obviously going to America for the Ryan Garcia Javier Fortuna fight. I'm going to put a lot of behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram as opposed to sort of making a behind the scenes YouTube video. I might still try and do that, but it's just a lot easier just to fucking do that, isn't it? So yeah, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, please do. Thank you to everyone for the feedback with the Andy Clark interview. It was fun. I've been wanting to speak to Andy Clark for a long time. My next target is definitely Joe Joyce. So my next 4 or 5, Joe Joyce, Anthony Yard, Tony Bellew, which I should be able to get quite easily actually. Who else? Dillian White would be a good one. And Derek Chisora. Those are my next 5 in my head. And look, those are all boxing people. It doesn't have to be boxing people. We might still go and try and speak to other people, but those are my next 5 boxing people at least. Speaking of Derek Chisora, obviously today I'm going to go to the O2 to work for DAZN. I think it's a decent card as well. It's weird, you know, when the card's announced and you don't know a lot of the guys. Like, I didn't really know too much about Vaughn Alexander, for example. But then seeing him in and around the hotel, he's ready to go against Felix Cash. That might be a good one, you know. And he beat Arias. Arias beat Jared Hurd. Like, there's something there. There's something there in that one. Madrimov versus Sorrow is going to be a good one. You guys might remember that. They had a fight back in December. Competitive fight. And then all of a sudden the bell goes and Madrimov lands fucking about 5 or 6 shots. Clearly hurts and stops Sorrow. Should have been a no contest. In fact, could have been disqualified. In the end, they gave it to Madrimov, which is probably one of the most controversial decisions I've seen. There you go again. So there's some good fights on there. Good to see what Kevin Ajako looks like at 154 pounds. I mean, this guy looks like he's fucking ready to go. He takes on Masiek, who you guys might remember went the distance with Anthony Fowler at the start of the year. And then we got the big one, Derek Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev. I don't see how Chisora wins this. I don't see it. I want to see if I can find a way like Chisora could do. Pulev just looks fucking big as well. Like, there was a time when I was on stage doing the what was it? I think it was Thursday, the media day, and they're having this little kind of wrestling battle, and I could see that Chisora felt the power of Pulev. Like, Pulev's a strong boy. There's only 2 defeats. Like, I was watching the Jerry Forrest performance the other day, and just comfortable. Like, just comfortable, you know, doesn't rush his work. Chisora's got to make this into a dogfight, obviously. And look, we as fans hope that it does turn into that. But I can almost just see Pulev boxing on the back foot, using his jab. And, you know, when he needs to engage, engages. We'll see. And Chisora's obviously got to be the one that takes the risk. He's got to be the one that comes in. Hopefully he comes in under that kind of bobbing, weaving style that he's had for a few years, that we didn't really see too much of against Joseph Parker. And because he needs to close the gap. And when he needs to close the gap, he needs to get in and work. And then look, then you never know. Then you never know. When I said to him, look, why didn't you take an easier fight? And what I meant by that is, look, again, Pulev fought for a title a year and a half ago. I mean, there are easier names. I mean, I remember straight after the Parker fight, people were talking about Areola, like just something. And this is no disrespect to Areola, still can fight, but something like that. It was like, what does the hat say? The hat says war. If I pick someone that is very easy, then it's classed as bullying. I want a war. So look, he's going to get a war. He's going to get a war, and let's see how it goes. You know, a fight that is going under the radar. Like, of all the fights that have been sort of planned in the last sort of 6 or 7 months, this one's just literally being slept on, and that's Mark Magsayo versus Ray Vargas. WBC featherweight title up for grabs. Someone's O has got to go. Magsayo's like, what, 24-0? Remember coming off that good win against Gary Russell Jr. Ray Vargas, who's massive for the weight, is like 35-0. Honestly, could be fight of the year. Could be fight of the year, going under the radar. We'll probably have to do a Sunday session to reflect on all the fights. But yeah, that's one that's going under the radar. Let's see what news there is. Jake Paul fighting Hasim Rahman is, I mean, come on. No matter what you say about Jake Paul, to go from where he's gone from to be fighting Hasim Rahman, who had like 100 amateur fights, and I'm not trying to say Hasim Rahman's like anything special, but he's a boxer, like legit boxer, legit. There's no two ways about it. Whether or not you think he's a good boxer is up for debate and discussion, but he's a boxer. What is he a pro? Was he 12-1, 10-1? He's bigger. He's bigger than Jake Paul as well, because a lot of people are saying that Jake Paul's been a bit of a weight bully. That's something, man. To go from Tommy Fury to lastminute.com, get Hasim Rahman. You've got to respect that. You got to. Derek Chisora, I'm not retiring, but I'm on my way out. Yeah, he's on his way out. There's no two ways about it. He's 38. A number of defeats. Was it 12 or 13 defeats? Tough fights. I can't think of an easy Chisora fight. All tough, physically brutal fights. Like, your body can't keep going to the well, can it? Like, surely you're going to go there and there's no reserves. There's nothing there. And, he said, look, the only way you're stopping me is if you knock me out the way Dillian Whyte did. And even then he's going to try and get up. But obviously the ref kind of held him down. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Derek Chisora this evening. You know what I want to speak about, actually? Anthony Joshua and this situation of what broadcast network is his Usyk fight going to be on. Now, it looks like, and everyone's reported it, that it will be on Sky Sports box office. Now, to that casual, not even to the casual boxing fan, to someone that isn't a boxing fan, this must seem like weird. None of this must make any sense. AJ's just signed with DAZN. Matchroom, AJ's promoter, is with DAZN. Why is AJ then not fighting on DAZN? It makes no sense. I guess the only answer, really, the simple answer is that AJ DAZN deal wasn't supposed to be announced until after this fight. Obviously, the big wigs at DAZN, and I'm talking like the real big wigs, just got ahead of themselves and maybe said, okay, let's just announce it. It wasn't really supposed. So that DAZN deal didn't include this fight, which again is crazy. Like, if you're going to tie AJ down to a DAZN deal, you've got to include the comeback against Usyk. Like, you've got to, surely. But no, it wasn't part of the deal. So AJ and this fight was up for grabs. The Saudis had the TV rights, again, which sounds crazy to me. Honestly, sounds crazy, but I guess that was part of the site fee deal. Like, you want to come over here and we're going to give you this amount of money for the site fee, then we've got the rights. I don't think this was the same when he fought Ruiz. I'm just assuming that Sky Sports, who broadcast the fight, just had all the rights. Anyway, so the Saudis had the rights, and it was up for them a case of, okay, who do we give it to? Who's going to be the highest bidder? What makes more sense for us? I heard that everyone made a play for this. Like, everyone. Obviously, DAZN would obviously have made a play. Sky Sports made a play, and it looks like they've got it, and they made a play for around £28 million, which is crazy, but they'll make their money back because I think this will do good numbers. So Sky Sports made a play. ITV, BBC, like, literally, most broadcasters made a play for it. Sky have got it. If you're DAZN, obviously you're very, very upset. Very upset. The interesting thing about it, I say very upset, like, DAZN clearly have the money. I mean, if they wanted to go crazy just to make sure they got it, you could clearly just bid anything and just win it. They could have, but they decided not to. I don't know who's got the international rights. You'd like to think DAZN have got the international rights. Well, I would anyway, because I want to be out there, but those are still up for grabs as well. It's a strange play from Sky, just considering that they're not in the AJ business anymore. Usyk is a free agent after this fight. So I guess, look, if Usyk wins, Sky might make a play for Usyk, and then that makes more sense. But they're not in the AJ business, but they are in the money-making business, and this fight will generate a lot of money. I guess for AJ and for anyone involved within his stable, his 258 management, they'll probably look at it and think, the Sky machine's a good one. It's worked for us in the past. There's going to be loads of eyeballs on it. It makes more sense. They've obviously done good business in the past. It's just because DAZN have come and they've obviously blown Sky the water with what they can offer and pay AJ. But I mean, AJ, he's worked with Sky. He understands how Sky works, and it makes sense. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It really does. I find it all confusing. Honestly, I find it really confusing. As I said at the top, AJ's with DAZN, Matchroom with DAZN. This fight should be on DAZN. But it's not going to be. I don't know. I guess I'm more upset because unless they get the international rights, and this is the zone I'm talking about, then I'm not going to be out there for it. And I really, really, really want to be out there for it. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see. The zone now, desperately, like they needed AJ to win anyway. Like obviously they've offered AJ good money. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, if AJ loses, he's done. No, he's not done. But AJ's sort of power dwindles a little bit. Of course, if you lose, it's going to, the interest in you is going to kind of fade slightly. You still do great numbers because there's so many great fights out there. It's all about the opponent and how you sell it. But if he wins, then obviously it's jackpot. If he loses, and obviously the zone we know are paying him like really good money. What is it? $100 million a year, 2 fight deals a year, 2 fights a year, so what, 50 million? I mean, is he worth 50 million a fight if he loses? If he wins, obviously he could be worth more than that. If he loses, is he? But it would have been a better gamble if you at least had rights to this fight, which is going to do great numbers and will help the DAZN UK thing. So yeah, man, looks like Sky are going to get it. Sky must be buzzing right now. Now, honestly, if you're Sky right now, and I'm speaking to Andy Clark about this, they must feel like, we're still here. We're still here. We've signed this deal with Top Rank, so we're going to get a lot of the American fighters come over. We haven't seen so many yet, but obviously Michaela Meyer, Baumgardner, Clarissa Shields are all coming over. I know Clarissa's not part of the Top Rank, but look, Americans are coming over. They've got that women's card, which is obviously very good. Liam Smith, we don't know what's happening with him. Joseph. So they're doing stuff. They've got a lot of the Olympians, Ben Whittaker being probably the jewel in the crown. So if you're Sky right now, you're thinking, rolling up the sleeves, thinking, we're ready for this fight. We are ready. What's this? Shakur Stevenson views Lomachenko as top priority. That's a fight that needs to happen someday. I guess for us fans Loma's still, for me, the best lightweight. I know that sounds crazy because he doesn't have any belts and, there are other young kids coming up, but I think he's still the best. But age catches up with everyone. So for me to see this as a fight that, without me saying if Shakur wins, you only done it because Loma's old, it needs to happen now. Like now. How old's Loma? It's not even just how old he is, it's the wear and tear of the body as well. Loma is 34. Needs to happen now. Loma would have destroyed Kambosos, by the way. Destroyed him. It would have been one-sided beatdown. So that's a shame. He would have been undisputed champ. But yeah, he's not. What's this? So when I look and see if there's any more stories before we wrap. Yeah, it says here, Sky Sports wins UK broadcast rights. Jesus. Dubois' trainer, Shane McGuigan, Pulev would be a great opponent if he beats Chisora. Not sure about that. I wouldn't mind seeing, like a Okolie versus Dubois. I don't know if Okolie's trainer will think that's a step back from beating Tony Yoka, maybe. But I mean, you should want Dubois now. Dubois got the WBA regular, was it WBA? Or WBO regular, but he's got a regular heavyweight title. So people should want that fight now because it puts them in a position where they could be mandatory. So I'm more on the Dubois-Okolie bandwagon. We'll see. Be interesting to see how Fabio Wardley gets on tonight as well. Obviously, look, he's had so many different opponent switches, so this isn't any opponent. And it's a shame for Wardley as well because now Wardley's off the main card. So you've got like the before the bell portion, which is 4 fights or 3 fights, and then you've got sort of the main card, which starts at 7. And he's not on that because obviously the opponent's not worthy. But if he wins, and he will win, then it's him versus Nathan Gorman. How far is a Wardley from fighting a Dubois or a Okolie? I wonder. Mate, what's going on with Lawrence Okolie? Like, what is happening here with him and Eddie Hearn? This has got a bit, like, I don't know, a bit interesting, hasn't it? Like, obviously, he's got 1 fight left on his deal. Sky have obviously made him a big offer. Again, I've been talking about Sky a lot recently, but Sky have made a big offer. Obviously, Lawrence Okolie wants to accept that offer, but he's got 1 fight left on his deal. And, respect that you got one fight left in your deal. But he's been putting stuff out there online. I think the Django reference, have you guys seen that in terms of, I think, referencing Leonardo DiCaprio as Eddie Hearn and maybe Lawrence Okolie being the slave? Boy, and he deleted a tweet that I think read something like, Eddie Hearn is a... Okay, that needs to stop, I think. It needs to stop. Let's just have that one fight and then be on your way to Sky Sports. And, you know, I think Eddie's been saying that Sky said they want to make him the face of boxing over there. Obviously, it means the Riakporhe fight will probably happen. Like, you can... There's a way to part without it getting messy. Because in boxing, I think when you burn bridges like this, you just don't know. You really don't know. And I think there's a way to kind of part where everyone is gracious and you leave the correct way. And it also, I find it interesting just because obviously Lawrence Okolie's with 258 management. So there's like, surely Eddie's maybe going to have a conversation with that team and say, okay, let's just do this, you know, amicably. Let's go the correct way. And I feel like maybe that isn't happening right now, but we'll see. All right, guys and girls, if this goes up before 7 o'clock, make sure you tune into DAZN to watch your boy handle his business. Peace and love.